All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are diving into one of the most valuable and honestly most fragile assets for any innovator in biotech or pharma: time. We're talking about the life of your patent, and you really need to see it not just as a legal document, but as a ticking clock where every single second can be worth an absolute fortune. So let's just jump right into the big question, the one that frames this whole discussion. I mean, after you've poured years of your life and millions of dollars into a breakthrough, what is one extra year of market exclusivity really worth before the generics come knocking? Well, the answer can be just staggering. For a blockbuster product, a single year can easily be worth hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. And, that's not just some abstract number on a spreadsheet. That's the cash that funds the next wave of research, the capital that ensures a company's very survival. And here we get to the fundamental problem, the real catch. That 20-year lifespan of your patent, it doesn't start when you go to market. It starts the moment you file the application. And that clock just keeps ticking, right on through years of patent examination and then even more years of regulatory reviews, all before your product can even reach a single patient. All that valuable time is just disappearing.
Okay, so let's really dig into this problem in our first section here, the ticking patent clock. We have to understand exactly where and why those crucial years seem to vanish into thin air.
Just look at this timeline. It really shows you they're like two black holes that just swallow up your patent life. You see that the patent isn't even granted until around year 3, right? That's after a long slog with the USPTO. But then, look, regulatory approval from the FDA might not come until year 8. So by the time you can actually sell your product, you've already lost a massive chunk, almost half of your patent's original term. But what if that wasn't the end of the story? What if there were ways to actually claw some of that lost time back? Well, that's what our next section is all about. Let me introduce you to two incredibly powerful tools: PTA and PTE. So these tools are patent term adjustment, or PTA for short, and patent term extension, or PTE. Now, I know they sound super similar, but understanding the difference between them isn't just a legal detail, it's a massive strategic key to maximizing your company's value. So let's break them down, because this is really where the strategy begins. You'll see they come from totally different legal routes, they are designed to solve completely different problems, and you've got to use different tactics to actually take advantage of them. First up, we have PTA. The easiest way to think about this is like a time refund. So if the U.S. Patent Office takes an unreasonably long time to get around to examining and granting your patent, PTA is there to give you some of those lost days back. It's all about the time you lose before your patent is even official. Now, PTE, on the other hand, that's a whole different beast. It's more like a time credit. This is for the time you lose after your patent has been granted, while your amazing new product is stuck in that long, complex regulatory review process with an agency like the FDA. PTE is there to compensate you for the years your product was legally patented but not legally sellable. Two different problems, two different solutions. And this table just lays out those crucial differences perfectly. But I want you to look at that last row, the one labeled application. See how PTA is automatic? The Patent Office calculates it for you. But look at the note for PTE. You must apply for it, and you only have a tiny 60-day window after you get regulatory approval. If you miss that deadline, poof, the opportunity to extend your patent is gone for. So, okay, this brings us to the $1,000,000 or maybe $250,000,000 question at the heart of all of this. If you've lost time to both the Patent Office and the FDA, can you get that time back for both delays? In other words, can you actually stack these extensions to truly maximize your patent's lifespan? I mean, this is where the legal theory meets billion-dollar business strategy. And believe me, the answer has been hammered out in some major court cases. So, can you stack them? The courts basically said, yes, but. And it's a really critical but. You absolutely can't overlap them. They have to be added one after the other, in sequence. This makes sure you don't get credit twice for the exact same day of delay. And here is exactly how that step-by-step process works. First, you start with your standard 20-year term. Then, as you see in step 2, you add any PTA you got for patent office delays. That creates a new adjusted expiration date. Then, and only then, do you add your PTE for the regulatory delays on top of that new date. It's a very strict one, then the other sequence. And of course, there's always fine print. The law puts some hard caps on this to balance innovation with public access. For one, your PTE credit can't ever be more than 5 years, and the total patent life you have left after your product is finally approved can't go past 14 years. These rules are there to prevent monopolies from just extending on forever. So why does mastering all this legal math matter so much? Because as we're going to see in our final section, in the world of high-stakes innovation, time isn't just time, it is your single most valuable asset. I mean, think about it from an investor's point of view. When they are kicking the tires on your company, this is what they're looking at. They calculate what's called your effective patent life, the actual number of years you have left to sell your product after launch. And as this chart shows, at 40%, it can be the single biggest factor in their entire decision. It really is that simple. A longer, more clearly defined period of exclusivity means a longer, more predictable revenue stream. And what does that do? It directly pumps up your company's valuation and makes you a much less risky, far more attractive investment. It sends a powerful message that you have control and commercial foresight. And you know, getting this right isn't about luck. It's about a deliberate, proactive strategy. It means your patent lawyers and your regulatory folks can't be working in separate silos. It means you have to meticulously document every single delay so you can claim that time back. And it means making a really tough choice. Because you can only extend one patent per product, you have to pick the one that gives you the best possible commercial protection. This is how you literally turn bureaucratic delays into a competitive advantage. So let's just end on this thought. The companies that really thrive in this space aren't just the ones with the best science. They're the ones who understand how to protect their time. So is your patent just a static certificate hanging on a wall, or is it a dynamic line that you can manage, shape, and maximize? Answering that question is the first and most critical step to unlocking its true long-term value.